From UFOs to psychic powers and government conspiracies, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now, or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. Political influence comes from a plethora of organizations, some of which are more transparent than others. In the United States, special interest groups use lobbyists to gain legislative support, and the emergence of super PACs, or political action committees, has opened the door for massive amounts of money. Both of these systems have critics and advocates, but these organizations aren't the only backstage players in the Beltway. There are other, more secretive groups influencing American politicians, and these groups have agendas that may be unfamiliar to most Americans. It might sound like a fanciful conspiracy theory, but according to journalist Jeff Sharlet, at least one of these shadowy groups is very real, incredibly effective, and quite possibly dangerous. The family. Here's where it gets crazy. This enigmatic group is also known as the Fellowship. Technically, the family is a non-profit Christian organization, but their members have routinely denied the group's existence. Until Jeff Sharlet wrote his book-length expose, you'd be hard-pressed to find much information about this group. The family's origin dates back to 1935, when a preacher named Abraham Veretti and a businessman named Walter Douglas began a weekly breakfast meeting with 19 executives. There they prayed for divine intervention to redeem Seattle and crush the local unions. In modern times, the family's most public gathering is the famous National Prayer Breakfast, an event that's been attended by every U.S. president since Eisenhower. But the group's real strength lies in its influential members working to push the family's agenda. So what exactly is this agenda? According to Sharlet, the family believes that most Christians tend to misread the New Testament, and that the bottom line of Christ's message was about power rather than about love. According to an article by Lisa Getter in the LA Times, this group aims to create a global family of friends to spread the influence of the family across the world. On the surface, this doesn't seem illegal. Sure, the secrecy is creepy, but there are hundreds of religious groups working to bring their values to a wider audience. Additionally, many nonprofits and charities have religious roots. With this in mind, the family's hardly unique. Critics disagree, noting that the family's political influence amounts to backdoor diplomacy, and while this group may influence politicians, voters have no control over the family's behavior, and the group functions on a global scale. Perhaps their most well-known scandal came in 2009 when investigators claimed the family had influenced Uganda's anti-homosexuality legislation, under which people could be put to death. Yet the group has also been linked to successful acts of diplomacy, such as brokering peace in South Africa. Their defenders, such as former President George W. Bush, have praised their work. So just how much influence does the family wield in Washington, D.C.? This is an important question, especially in a modern nation that prizes the separation of church and state. To the family's supporters, this organization has an ability to bridge political gaps and to unite antagonistic groups through a mutual spiritual understanding. To the family's critics, this organization is a dangerous combination of religious zeal and political power, a combination that historically leads to disaster for the common citizen. And for many critics, this is the most important point. The common citizen in the United States, Uganda, or elsewhere can be affected by secretive legislation without having any input on the process. It's quite probable that the family is still working quietly behind the scenes today in the United States and abroad. But on what? For now, that's something they don't want you to know.